past, there would be days where I would just be sitting on my sofa, watching carnivore YouTube videos, snacking on a frozen stick of butter. I would actually eat up to 4 to 5 pounds of meat total and 1 to 2 sticks of butter in one day. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, I am Steak and Butter Gal, otherwise known as Isabella or Bella. I'm just a musician who is super passionate about diet, specifically the carnivore diet. I have experienced eating the standard American diet, the standard Chinese diet since I am Chinese, and of course, the good old vegan diet for 6 years. So now I am carnivore for 20 months and counting. I feel absolutely the best I have ever felt. I'm at the healthiest, lowest weight I ever have been, and I'm the most confident I have ever been as well. So just wanted to give you guys a little introduction. Today's topic, I'm extremely excited to talk about everything about hunger cues, satiation, extreme hunger, and cravings. And I'm going to be answering specific questions you guys asked on Instagram. If you want to ask specific questions for me to answer, follow me at Steak and Butter Gal. Let's get started. I want to start from high school because I feel like high school was when the root cause of my eating disorder, of my obsession with food, all began. Senior year of high school, I started being very, very obsessed with looking skinny, with losing weight, and I would scour the internet, especially YouTube, to learn and find out what other pretty girls are doing. So it was seriously an unhealthy obsession. I would go on YouTube and I would search how to lose weight quick or 3-day weight loss plan, you know? And I would obsess over these videos. Now, there was one day where I came across this girl called Freely the Banana Girl. And at that time, she was super popular. She was a big hit. All of these girls and guys were watching her, commenting and promoting her popularity. So I was watching her stuff, and the first thing that caught my eye was obviously her body, her six-pack, her beautiful figure, and her energy. Well, energy, when really it was just sugar spikes and then crashes, which were obviously not on camera. She promoted the Raw Till 4, which is basically eat anything raw and plant-based. So any fruit you want, any salads you want, raw, uncooked. Once 4 p.m. hits, eat as much cooked carbs, veggies, plants you want. So a typical day of my vegan diet, by the way, just one day of watching her shit and I was convinced. I was like, yo, I'm going vegan right now because I want to look like her. And I told my mom, I was like, I'm going vegan today. And she scoffed at me. She was pretty much just thinking that I was an idiot. And she also believed I wouldn't commit. Committed for 6 years, guys. So typical day of what I ate, I was 100% plant-based, by the way. Never did I ever eat any processed junk, any of those fake processed vegan crap meats, mock animal foods. I never touched those, never spent a penny on those. I focused on whole foods, organic vegetables of all types, organic fruits of all types, and steamed rice, tons of steamed white rice, tons of steamed potatoes. Sweet potatoes was my favorite. I loved beans. Anything to do with beans. I would mix that crap up into a huge bowl. So yeah, that's in a nutshell, in a very vegan nutshell, preferably cashew. That was my vegan diet. Every day, morning till afternoon, I would focus on raw stuff. And man, I ate the hell out of anything I could get my hands on that was vegan and whole foods. I just felt really restricted, and on top of that, I wasn't nourished, I wasn't satiated, so it was this endless cycle of binging. There was a period of time where I was gaining weight when I was even counting calories. My thighs were chafing and my stomach was bloated AF, and I was desperate, so I started binge eating. Binging and purging was probably the rock bottom of my eating disorder. I would eat so much oatmeal, rice, fruits, maple syrup, just anything vegan. And then I would force myself to throw it up. Only a few times did I succeed, thank God, because that could lead to very, very detrimental health issues. But I would just force myself in front of the toilet, just trying to throw it all up because I was terrified to gain any weight at all. So it got to a point where all I would be thinking about was food. And when I finally did get to sit in front of my vegan foods, I would eat it and then I just would never feel satiated. My brain would still send signals to eat more food, but all I knew was plants, rice, carbs. Little did I know that I was eating the wrong foods, guys. So 6 years of that. So imagine these habits being ingrained deeper and deeper into my diet, into my lifestyle. You can imagine that it took a lot of time, a lot of change in mindset to finally focus on healing, being full and satiated and nourished. So let's skip to when I discovered the carnivore diet. All I can share with you is my experience. Again, I am not a doctor. I'm not a health professional. I am just putting this content out into the world so that you guys can, I guess, learn about my personal unique experience. I'm 24 years old. I am Chinese, and I have been raised on the standard American / standard Chinese diet. Fast forward 6 years and I have discovered the carnivore diet. By the way, this is my YouTube channel. I just feel like it's a really pretty background. Please make sure you subscribe, guys. Just click subscribe button down below, turn on the post notifications, click that bell so you never miss what I post in the future. So I wanted to share with you my past history because it honestly influences so very much how I eat today, what I prioritize today. So because I had a restrictive, very malnourished diet called the vegan diet for 6 years prior to me going carnivore, my body needed to heal. My body needed to heal its metabolism, its wrecked hormones, and its extreme ravenous hunger. And there was no way for me to heal that unless I started eating quality meats, especially beef, lots and lots of animal fats such as butter, eggs, fatty salmon, raw beef fat, pork lard, just lots of animal fats and organs. I found out about the carnivore diet because of Joe Rogan. I came across his podcast, his videos featuring all these successful OG carnivores. And then I discovered this YouTuber called Frank Tufano. He was like an early carnivore YouTuber, and watching his videos really helped me get situated with this way of eating. Like exactly what the hell am I supposed to do? What do I eat? Where do I get these foods? I'm happy to make these videos for you in the future, but today I want to tell you about my hunger, how I healed my satiation, and how I fought my horrible sugar cravings. I remember first month of the carnivore diet, I ate so much, like absolutely scary amounts of food, of meat. I focused on beef only. Beef, eggs, butter, water. That's it. Nothing else. Those 4 things were all I bought, all I cooked, all I ate the first whole month, okay? Now the beef, it ranged from ground beef, and I made sure I got my hands on the fattiest ratios of ground beef. I was able to get 70% lean meat, 30% fat. If I couldn't get that, I would resort to 80% lean, 20% fat, and that was as lean as I would eat. Fat, I would eat unlimited amounts of fat. There would be days where I would just be sitting on my sofa, watching carnivore YouTube videos, snacking on a frozen stick of butter. I would actually eat up to 4 to 5 pounds of meat total and 1 to 2 sticks of butter in one day, together in one day. All of that in one day. And the eggs I would eat whenever I craved it. At times I would eat 10 eggs. Some days I would eat 15 eggs. There was one day where I ate 48 eggs. I'm saying this not to shock you, not to make you feel nauseous or disgusted. I'm saying this to prove to you that on the carnivore diet, you do not restrict. On the carnivore diet, you do not stop yourself from eating if you're not full. In other words, it really is so important that you eat enough. It is so crucial that you eat until you are comfortably stuffed. Now, what the hell does comfortably stuffed even mean? I know some girls have wrecked their body so hard for so long that they don't even know their hunger signals, what they mean, when to stop eating, when to start eating. That's okay. That's kind of how I was like the first month. I just ate whenever I felt like it. Maybe I wasn't even feeling that hungry, but if I was bored and I was thinking about some scrambled eggs, I would make it and I would eat it. That is what it really takes at the end of the day, especially for females with wrecked hormones, with wrecked metabolisms. You just gotta eat. It's better to err on the too much side than too less, like so much better. If there is one day where you eat not enough for your body, where you eat a little bit less than what your body actually needs, you will suffer tomorrow. You will suffer the next morning. You will have horrible sugar cravings. You will want to devour a whole cow. Like, in order to get on top of your hunger, it's best that you eat before you're hungry. I know that sounds confusing, but let's say you wake up in the morning, you have that strange feeling of hunger, like an emptiness in your stomach, a little desire for something yummy, something warm, then you just have to eat. You should not be ignoring your hunger signals, even if it's just one tiny little thought in your brain that just thought about eggs. I would actually go and make the eggs, sit down and eat it, satiate your brain, do what your body tells you to do. The biggest thing is that you eat enough. And for me, the first month, I really ate more than enough. I ate until I felt like my stomach was going to explode. Imagine, even though I'm tall, I'm 5'9.5", so okay, 5'10", and I've always had a big appetite. So downing 5 pounds of beef, with extra butter on the side, maybe some eggs, like obviously my stomach is going to feel very stuffed. I didn't care if I gained a few pounds, and I didn't care if my pants were like about to burst, because I felt satiated. Finally, I felt good. So I am so glad that I allowed myself to eat whenever I was hungry, whenever I desired animal foods. I sat down and ate. I never denied my body anytime food. If I was craving food, I would eat. Okay, I'm sounding like a broken record, but I cannot stress this enough. It is so important that you are eating enough. I would say that is the biggest and most important advice in even combating cravings, in even healing your hunger signals, and then in the long run, reaching weight loss. Now, with that being said, the carnivore diet is not a quick fix to lose weight, okay? I really believe that people who truly want to succeed on the carnivore diet has to have the right priorities. They have to want long-term health. They have to really want to heal something permanently, not just to lose weight. So for me, I was so sick of the binge purge cycles that I would suffer from. I was so sick of the spikes and crashes of being vegan in energy and mood. I was so sick of being anxious all the time. I was so sick of not being able to feel confident in my own skin. So when I went carnivore, I promised myself to just focus on healing, to just focus on feeling my best. And I really think that eating enough, eating so much as your heart desires, is necessary. So now we come to the question, but what if I'm gaining weight? Who cares? So what if you're gaining weight? It's not permanent. Most carnivores who start and they notice weight gain, it's usually not dramatic weight gain. There is only so much your body can hold on to when you're only eating meat and eggs and animal fats. You have to let that go. You have to focus and prioritize healing from within, from healing long-term for your actual health, not for vanity reasons, not for fitting in that tight dress next week. Okay, so now that you kind of get an idea of how I started carnivore, of how I ate before carnivore, I feel like now I can jump into the questions, the specific topics you want me to answer and share. Okay, first question. How much should we eat? How much should one eat on the carnivore diet? It varies. It depends. That is the answer. It depends on each person. It depends on what your body needs to be nourished, to be satiated. So for me, again, the first month, it was 4 to 5 pounds of meat. Couple months later, it decreased to 3 pounds of meat. So I'm basically saying maybe one day or 1 month, your body may need a ton of food, more than you could possibly imagine. But I really think it's important that you just feed your body what it craves, what it needs. If you're having thoughts of food, of steak and butter gal's egg pudding, then make it. Don't deprive your body from it, especially if you're just eating carnivore foods, just eating meat, eggs, animal fats. Eat as much as you want. I also really think that fasting is not necessary, especially in the beginning month or 2 of carnivore. It depends on how much you should eat, but you should eat enough to make you feel the best in energy and mood and satiation. How do you satisfy sweet tooth cravings on the carnivore diet? I always say that fat is the best fighter for sugar cravings, for any junk cravings at all. If you're still craving sugar, sweets, chocolate, ice cream, that's a big sign that you're not eating enough fat. Again, I can't possibly know exactly what's going on with you, but for me, whenever I craved a little fruit, because that's all I ate on being vegan, I would combat that with eating fat. My favorite sources of fat: sticks of frozen butter. Raw butter is best because it's just most digestible, it's the most gentle, it's not pasteurized. You won't really have any reactions or allergies to raw, unheated butter. But if you can't find that, Kerrygold is best. Other things that would really satiate me and stop the cravings: scrambled eggs in a ton of butter. I love that. My egg pudding with a ton of butter on top, or fatty salmon. So I say this all the time, but and also raw beef fat, which is also known as suet. I would just eat it out of the bag raw, like handfuls of marshmallow. That would always fight my sugar cravings. If the cravings aren't only influenced by the quantity of foods you're eating, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not eating enough. It's actually, for me at least, it's very influenced by the quantity of fat in my diet that day. So I know immediately that I'm not eating enough fat nowadays when I have sugar cravings. Here is my best tactic to fight sugar cravings even before it starts. I recommend you eat fat first whenever you're sitting down for your carnivore meal. Focus on the fats first. So focus on eating a couple bites of butter or a couple bites of fatty scrambled eggs. Prioritize your fats. Now, it's actually good if you eat so much that you start feeling a little nauseous. Now, this is like an emergency tactic. You don't have to eat till nauseous every meal, but if you are that worried about sugar cravings tipping you off the wagon, then I would focus on eating so much fat first before the lean protein, to the point where you feel nauseous. That is the best and only way for me, at least a sugar addict, to fight the cravings. I would eat so much butter. There was one day where I ate 3 sticks of butter and I finally felt like my sugar cravings were demolished. Obviously, I felt nauseous, but at least I didn't reach for chocolate or candy or just junk that would make me feel horrible. So it would be to a point where I'm so full with fats in my system that even when I go out with my family or friends to an ice cream shop, or I walk by a bakery and I whiff those amazing scents, I wouldn't be affected. I wouldn't even bat an eye at the foods. I wouldn't feel like I was weak, you know? I would be like, okay, next, let's go. So that, I find, was the best tactic to fight those sugar cravings, those evil sugar cravings. I do have a video dedicated to combating sugar cravings on my YouTube channel. I will just link it right here. You can click the tab there to go see it, to go learn more of my specific tactics, or it'll also be in the description box if you want to watch it later. But look, sugar cravings, at the end of the day, I really believe it's not an issue with your willpower. It really isn't. So you don't have to feel horrible about yourself. You don't have to beat yourself up for falling off the wagon if, let's say, you cheated one night. It's not an issue about your willpower, guys. So don't feel like you're weak, like you just don't have willpower. It's honestly an issue of nutrient density. Sugar cravings happen when you are not eating enough nutrient dense foods and when you are not eating enough fat. So after 20 months of being carnivore, I have noticed that the most satiating and effective fat is still raw animal fat. So fat from the actual animal, not butter actually. As much as I love butter, I find the most effective is raw beef fat. Now, I haven't tried raw pork fat or raw lamb fat because I just love beef fat, but you guys could most definitely try and let me know if you have down in the comments. That is what I have found to be the most effective in demolishing any cravings at all. Okay, now let's say you just can't stomach raw animal fat. I totally understand. Then I would resort to butter. Frozen butter sticks is amazing and it's delicious. And you really should incorporate quality raw organs. So my favorite is raw liver. Even though I hate the taste, I make sure I eat 1 ounce every other day, at least. My favorite way of eating it and the easiest way for me to swallow is to cut it up fresh in bite-sized chunks, freeze it, and just swallow it down like a daily pill. So once you make sure your diet is full of nutrient-dense foods and rich fats from animals, you will start to see progress in a decline in your sugar cravings. I can almost guarantee you that. But since I'm not a doctor, since I cannot speak for all of you, I'm only sharing with you my experience again. Okay, let's go to the next one. How long does it take for cravings to disappear after you start the carnivore diet? For me, it took a couple months. I would say a good 3 months before I really felt like I can conquer each day without having any thoughts about sugar, about vegan chocolate, about vegan anything that had sugar. Hell yeah, they had vegan chocolate. I was obsessed with this brand called Lily's. I'm sure, yeah. Yeah, took me a good 3 months. Now 20 months in, you can literally put a whole table of my favorite sweets in front of me and I wouldn't give a crap. Like I would just say, where is the steak? At least give me a steak cake. Okay, next. Oh, well, basically, again, it depends, okay? Now, if you want to quicken the process of demolishing your sugar cravings, eat more fat. I swear, I'm going to be a broken record all of this video, but eat more fat. If you have cravings, you're not eating enough fat. If you have sugar cravings, you're not eating enough fat. How long did it take you to stop craving sugary foods? So same question. Do you think higher fat helps with hunger and weight loss? Absolutely. My whole life motto as a carnivore is up your fats, girls. Eat more fat if you want to lose weight. Eat more fat if you want to feel satiated. Absolutely. It's like set in stone for me that if I want to be satiated, I'm going to be eating. You bet I'm going to be eating all that butter, all that suet, all that fatty meat, like ribeyes, New York strip, oxtail, just anything that has fat, give it to me. Right?
You're so hot.
Shut up. Hey guys, so this is gonna be the end of the video for now because I filmed about an hour's worth of answers regarding hunger, cravings, weight loss. So I'm gonna do a part 2 very soon, but I really hope if you watched this far, I really hope it helped you guys out big time. I really put my heart, mind, and soul to answering these questions, and I tried to give you pretty much all the advice I know. So make sure you hit the subscribe below, turn on the post notifications, follow me on Instagram so you don't miss what I say next. I wish you guys all so much luck on the carnivore diet. Keep me posted, keep me updated, ask any questions down in the comments below. I love you, SB fam, SBG, out.